That's the question. How much did you know, and do you stand by it?
I knew generally that this is what we're doing. I couldn't have told you the exact dates, but I definitely knew we were negotiating with national contractors to see what rate would it take for you to come in and take a proposal.
Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan's got a scandal brewing. Bloated demolition contracts, federal dollars, secret conversations with contractors. Back to his honor in a few moments. First, the background. Last week, the mayor assured City Council that it's all good. Detroit's demolition blitz is being done the right way. He implied I was a hatchet man who confused his gold-plated construction experts. The council lapped it up like kittens at the saucer.
The next time I'll handle it myself.
Spoken like a true leader, taking a hit for your team.
They now have to pay the truck.
Of course, I had more questions for our true leader, and I called the mayor's office to get the answers. And look who they sent again.
Why'd they send you?
I'm the subject matter expert on the stuff in the city.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk to Jim Wright. They sent me to Pool Boy, and I want to talk to the man.
Jim Wright is the deputy director of the Building Authority. You might remember he's that guy making more than $200,000 a year negotiating those demolition contracts. He's been the mayor's sidekick for years, and he's got no experience in housing demolition. Now, before Jim came along, houses in Detroit cost about $10,000 to demolish. Over the past few months, under Jim's stewardship, however, that number has ballooned to over $20,000 a house. That's right, $20,000 a house. How? Well, last year, Jim and his boss, Dave Menardo, another longtime Duggan pal, decided to set the price at 52 cents a cubic foot. Before they came along, the city paid by the square foot. Let's do the math. The demo price for a square foot was about $3 under Dave Bing. So a 2,500 square foot house then cost about $7,000 to tear down. Under Duggan, they decided to multiply in the height of the house. That gives you cubic feet. Now, the cost to demolish the very same house skyrockets to almost $20,000. Sheesh, how'd they come up with that? Well, that's where things get messy. According to copies of emails we received, Jim Wright of the Building Authority agreed to the new price with 3 contractors at least 4 days before the bid was made public to other contractors. And lo and behold, those very same contractors got the job. Whoa.
Is that your private email address? BWFarkas44.
When we first started, yeah, we were using that.
Is this your boss's private email? You sent him a note so you would know. Is that his private email?
Yeah.
And is that your boss's private email?
Yeah, so...
Yes?
Yes.
And you're all sending public business over private email. That's kind of like what
we've
Hillary does.
We've transferred that all now to the city system.
Okay, but you stand by this stuff. You did do that.
No, we're using the city system now.
Okay, but you were using your private system.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I got. Thank you.
No other questions?
None.
The day after that fiasco of an interview, the mayor met with us. And listen closely. He admits to everything. Discussions with contractors before the bidding, official communications through private emails, and the ballooning cost overruns that have pushed the price of demolishing an abandoned house in Detroit to more than $20,000. And it's worth remembering, the city's broke, the country's broke, and we're borrowing against our children's future.
This is from Jim Wright on his private email,
Right.
dated June 13th, saying this is what we agreed to
Right.
with the big 3.
Right.
And then you'll notice 4 days later, it becomes public for all the other people to bid.
Okay.
You can't have you're a prosecutor, former prosecutor. You can't do that. You can't have conversations about bids.
MCM, Homrich, Adamo, and Beerline, we were hoping to get them in.
Yeah, these 3 got the contracts. They were well aware of the price before.
It was a negotiated price, there's no question
but before
about it.
this became public for the rest of the other contractors, It was already negotiated, and they were only given, other contractors only given 2 days. Is that collusion?
I don't believe it was collusion, but given the speed with which they were working, I know what they were trying to do.
Not only did they bid, they're the only ones that got the contracts.
They were the only ones who wanted to do it. So
But you
here's,
see my question.
I see your question, and let me tell you what happened, and you can say we're right or wrong. I'll just tell you the truth about what happened.
It's not up to me.
Okay, it is, so Menardo went around to Beerline in Midland and MCM in Oakland County, Homeridge, Adamo, and I know he talked to a couple of others. And he basically said, look, if we paid you the average price of demo that we're getting now and gave you blocks of 400 at a time, would you come in? And they basically said, we'll think about it. And so they sat down and had conversations. There was no point in putting it out if nobody was
So
interested.
this reads as though they came up with a price together and then went through the
They
motions of.
They definitely discussed the price because they had meetings with these folks. You gotta understand.
How can you do that?
MCM and Beerline had no interest in coming to the city of Detroit. Okay,
But you can't set a price before you put it out to bid. That's, everybody knows that.
and so the unit price process. If we didn't have a fair price, nobody was going to bid. Should there have been more time in the process? Maybe. But here is the
So we
situation.
put you in charge of $100 million. We were expecting the best process, not a hodgepodge, because in the end, we have fill problems, we have trucking problems, the cost ballooned, you did not see it. And we're having discussions beforehand on private email, which gets around for you, and then with the cost overruns.
Private email does not get around for you.
With the cost overruns, here's Jim Wright on the private again,
Yeah.
asking an administrator to come up with something for these overruns. You know, just put something down. You can justify it. Read the last sentence.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah. Now the finger pointing begins. Stay tuned.